Everybody, please welcome Al Adams, our Fred Board Chair.
So actually, before I start, I would say, let's everybody just stand up, shake your arms, and take a deep breath. Okay, I can go with this. Should I go with this? No? Still working on it? Oh,
Perfect.
That sounds good. Okay, thank you. All right, please have a seat. Thank you. So first thing, I want to extend a really warm welcome to all new Freddies and all returning Freddies. And there actually was a recommendation. We haven't done it yet, so you have to wait with breathless anticipation. The idea of having T-shirts that I am a Freddie. And we're still thinking about that. How many people know what FRED stands for, the acronym? Yeah, see, back in the day, but yeah, so FRED stands for the Future, FR, Future of Executive Development. So that was where FRED, and the idea in the very beginning was it would be a very modest parallel to TED, so FRED, which is where we would have the annual forum and so on. So that's just a little history, but I thought maybe there'd be people who wouldn't know that. So how many people are here for your first forum? Please stand. We can see you. All right. And then how about second to fifth forum? All right. And then sixth to ninth. All right. All right, and then this is going to be the pièce de résistance, right? How many people have been to all 10 FRED forums? 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. Thank you. I would also like to ask our board of directors to stand, and then to please stay standing because we're going to have others join you. So the current board of directors stand so you can see who they are. Kimberly, did you stand? Yes, Kimberly, okay. And then, of course, David Small, our executive director, as well. And then Laura Bennett, who is the associate director, and I don't know if she's in the room, she may be. Yeah, Laura's back there. Okay, great. And then we'd like to add to this group the Next Gen Leadership Council, which got launched in New York a year ago. And we are so appreciative of this Next Gen group who have been helping and, of course, help to facilitate groups today and are going to be playing parts throughout the forum. So will the Next Gen folks stand up so we can see you here? All right. Thank you very much. Okay, well, my piece is not improv, but I think I learned some things there. It was a little scary. Mine's a little more didactic, so. It was in the wake of the 2007 crisis that Rocky Kimball and his good friend Jim Bolt, who were really highly regarded executive coaches, they looked at one another and they wondered, you know, given what's happened with this crash and the fact who are leading companies and leading our country and so on, people with MBAs from Harvard and Stanford and so on, taking us down the tubes, what might we do that would establish a laudable ethical standard for leaders across sectors and across geographic boundaries? And so this led to Rocky and Jim imagining and then creating FRED Leadership. A decade later, here we are. FRED's mission remains the same, to develop ethical, inclusive, transformational leaders, and then I find myself adding, who navigate the world with a moral compass and with courage. So it goes without saying that we're living in unsettled and unsettling times. Indeed, we're living in, one would hope that we're living through, a kind of leadership purgatory, where national leaders assert that facts aren't facts, truth isn't truth, that morality is fungible, and that the common good should take a back seat to uncommon partisanship. All of this fueled by fanning the flames of fear, of anger, and even of hatred. Now, having spent half a century, I'm sure you find that very hard to believe, but half a century working in middle schools and high schools, I have a particular concern about the tabloid-ready nature of today's political landscape, including the Washington swamp, morphing into more of a sewer. And that concern, my concern, is that the children are watching. I spent my life with kids. The children are watching. And it devastates me to think about how young people are interpreting current front page portrayals of both leadership and of manhood, each anchored in entitlement to and the use and the abuse of power. So to this point, I just read, now I have to admit, I read it in the failed New York Times, a review of Robert Redford's new movie, The Old Man and the Gun, which I haven't seen, but actually sounds like a pretty sweet story. And I bring it up because the review said, in part, at a time when bluster, bragging, and histrionic displays of self-pity are apparently the defining characteristics of American manhood, it's nice to be reminded of the virtues of discretion and quiet. And the same, of course, can be said for leadership. So, while there are countless casualties of today's prevalent sort of neo-Neanderthal approach to leadership, including, of course, the U.S. being a laughingstock at the UN just a week ago, the ways in which it is likely shaping how young people imagine the kinds of people and the kinds of leaders they aspire to become is especially troubling to me. So Fred, as you know, exists to inspire and support an ennobling vision and version of what leadership is. Each of us in this room and our colleagues beyond are called to embody and to help others embrace this elevating model of who we are, of what we are, and of how we are. The children are watching, and they need you and they need me to be admirable, and dare I even say, wholesome role models for them to emulate. So this requires, among other things, for each of us to have a guiding star, to have a trustworthy compass, and the brotherhood and the sisterhood of fellow travelers. It also requires the fire of passion, but balanced with the coolness of compassion and resilience and courage. And to this last piece on courage, there's a wonderful book that you might know, and if you don't, I urge you to find it. It's by John O'Donohue, and actually Rocky turned me on to it, and David Dotlick. And it's called To Bless the Space Between Us. To Bless the Space Between Us. And it's a book of blessings. I think the last book that O'Donohue wrote before he died. And I'm going to share with you one of these blessings. And this is the blessing for courage. And so here it is. When the light around you lessens and your thoughts darken until your body feels fear turn cold as a stone inside, when you find yourself bereft of any belief in yourself and all you unknowingly leaned on has fallen, When one voice commands your whole heart and it is raven dark, steady yourself and see that it is your own thinking that darkens your world. Search and you will find a diamond thought of light. Know that you are not alone and that this darkness has purpose. Gradually, it will school your eyes to find the one gift your life requires hidden within this night corner. Invoke the learning of every suffering you have suffered. Close your eyes, gather all the kindling about your heart to create one spark. That is all you need to nourish the flame that will cleanse the dark of its weight of festered fear. A new confidence will come alive to urge you toward higher ground, where your imagination will learn to engage difficulty as its most rewarding threshold. So again, to bless the space between us, I strongly recommend it. So Fred is indeed in the fire, and we are all here to inspire and to be inspired, to support and to be supported, to encourage and to be encouraged. And in the spirit of the forum's fire metaphor, Joshua Graham offers this that, well, I'm happy to share with you. He says, I survived because the fire inside me burned brighter than the fire around me. I survived because the fire inside me burned stronger than the fire around me. So over the next 3 days, we'll be fanning the flames that burn inside us so that we're better prepared to confront the fires that burn around us. When we depart this oasis, this incubator, this intellectual and emotional spa, this match and kindling that we call the Fred Forum. And so on behalf of the board, on behalf of all of us, I welcome you. It's wonderful to have you here. Looking forward to the journey with you.